What if I told you there was an instant photo booth that was made back in the day that didn't give you that classic photo strip, but instead it gave you an actual Polaroid picture? I just think it's fascinating and really cool. So while I was attending PolaCon NYC, I met Wes, which he had one that was restored by him, available to mess with, get photos. And since we're in the new year and PolaCon is starting to ramp back up, I wanted to share an interview I did with Wes. There I talked to him about the booth itself, a little bit about the backstory of it, and then I released the video, and then he messaged me with more information about it, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. But before we do that, you may not have actually seen the interview. So we're gonna go back to PolaCon 2024 and watch the extended version even. That was originally only available for members. And then we'll come back here and talk about some of the new findings. Let's get into it.
You know the type of guy that was a jock in high school but ended up becoming a huge nerd? You know, someone that's not afraid to make a fool of themselves on the internet. And someone that likes to shoot Polaroid a little too much. Did I say huge nerd? You know, just an ordinary, everyday guy. Well, that's me. I'm just another Chris.
And I'm here with Wes. Can you tell me what this is and show me how it works?
It's a Polaroid photo booth in the early 90s, a collaboration between Polaroid and Capcom.
Yeah.
Polaroid got together with the arcade division in Capcom, and they, built these booths in like 91, 92, I think is when they came out.
The reason that I'm so excited about this, or just mind blown, it spits out an actual just regular Polaroid photo.
Yeah, so
it's not like the photo booth strip.
It's originally the film it took was 339, which is a wide format. You can see the photos in the back there. So it's kind of Spectra-ish, but it's actually even a little bigger than a Spectra photo. But I converted it to iType. Thing was a mess. It was sitting in somebody's basement for a long time. It was originally in a Chuck E. Cheese. That's where it started its life. It sat in somebody's basement or something. The thing had mice living in it. Yeah.
And so you were saying that you kind of restored it, but did new graphics?
All the graphics are custom. I did those. The original booth, the graphics were kind of like very 90s, and like it was the kind of thing where it's not like vintage enough to be cool yet. The graphics were beat up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just didn't love them. Yeah. And this is kind of what I came up with.
You were saying earlier that this is like, it weighs like 300 pounds?
I would say between 300 and 400 pounds, yeah.
And you brought it here.
Yeah, from Boston, yeah.
From Boston.
In my pickup, yeah.
Just that alone is kind of mind-boggling. And I was wondering if we could take a look inside and see how it actually works.
Yeah, I'll open it up for you. I think it holds 30 packs or so. So there's two stacks of packs of film. This is the adapter I made.
The adapter for the those are wider.
The original size of the film was this big, and so it's just a sleeve that the iType slides into to make it fit in the mechanism that reloads the packs.
Right.
Is all it is. You lose about 25% of the photo because it's square format. And to compensate for that, I just moved the camera over to center it in the booth. You can't center the pack in here because otherwise it couldn't eject the photo, Right. So you have to keep it on this side.
Yeah.
They don't make the wide format anymore.
So this is technically the camera itself.
Yep. So the camera bottom, the rollers and the ejection mechanism is from a microcam. It was for like science classes, to take microscope pictures.
Okay.
But then the top here is all custom. I think it's kind of crazy. It's all just like kind of cut up and like hacked together. Like really is not like a production camera at all.
Right. Yeah.
There's a conveyor belt down here, and then there's an elevator, they call it, that pushes it up into the camera body. So it comes across and then up, and then it spits out the old one into the trash there.
Oh, okay.
Get in there. Woo.
All right, and there's a button here now that flashes to take the photo, and there's a counter in there that counts down, which is awesome. So here we go. Press it, and then look, we got ourselves a real Polaroid photo. How cool is that?
So I found several Chuck E. Cheese tokens in the bottom laying around, and did a little bit of research and found out that it was in a Chuck E. Cheese for the beginning of its life. Yeah.
And so how long did it take you to get this going again?
Hundreds of hours, I don't know, 300 or 400 hours at least.
Wow. So when did you acquire it?
January.
Oh, January. That's pretty fast, though.
Yeah.
January. I mean, it's here at PolaCon it's May. What month is it?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
Really,
really cool. I really appreciate you taking just a quick time to talk about this thing. This thing's awesome. Really appreciate you taking the time. Nice meeting you, Wes, and it's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Woo! I can't wait to go back to PolaCon NYC, which in fact, that is the goal, that is the plan currently. I won't be at this year's San Francisco, unfortunately, but I'm going to try and make Denton happen as well, because you just never know what you're going to see, find, and meet while you're at these events, just like Wes in his photo booth. I just think it's fascinating. I don't know. Leave a comment down below if you just find this fascinating as well.
Hey, I want to cut in real quick because I recorded that like a couple weeks ago, and since then I've actually announced the totally awesome instant photo walk, that's the official name, that I'm hosting here in Portland, Oregon, April 19th. There's going to be giveaways, raffles, photo contests, a lot more. It's absolutely free. There's a link in the description to RSVP. I want to get a head count so I know how many prizes and things to get together. So click that link. And now back to your regular scheduled programming.
The reason I think it's fascinating is just how the mechanics of it work. You don't just load a piece of paper into it and then let it take a picture and print it out. It's an actual film. So having like some conveyor belt system to make a pack of film reload itself after it's done, that's just kind of witchcraft and crazy engineering. So when I released that original video of my PolaCon coverage, Wes reached out to me and was like, hey, I have some more pictures of what it looked like when I got it, as well as a bunch of other resources and information about photo booths of that time period. And I'm going to leave some links in the description below to some of the stuff that he sent me if you want to dive even deeper. However, I want to share some of the things that I found fascinating with you right now, which one of them is the camera itself. There are a lot of other models out there. I shouldn't say a lot. I think there was only a couple. The one that Wes has reconstructed and restored takes your picture on a modified pack where that film type isn't made anymore, which is also kind of wild that Polaroid made specific film type for these machines. It wasn't Spectra, it was its own type. So the camera that he has in there, it takes your picture and that's it, you get one photo. But there were other types out there that took a traditional photo booth style where there's 4 separate images. And he has some photos of what some of those look like. I just think it's kind of cool that that existed. Now, it was a little unclear if these were his photos or just stuff that he had found online. He just shared a bunch of photos. Knowing him, who knows? He probably has some of this stuff he's laying around. Now, there's another thing I found really fascinating from the stuff he'd sent me. Back in 2011, the Impossible Project, aka Polaroid, that's known today, because remember, Polaroid today is not Polaroid of yesterday. It's a whole different company. But they tasked a company called AA Studios to restore a handful of these instant photo booths from the 90s. And from what I can see there in the pictures and stuff, there might have been like 6 or 7 of them that they did restorations on and got functioning again and actually converted it to shoot Spectra film, because that was around back then. And there's even like a short little video of, I think, just the battery packs getting made or produced inside the Impossible Project factory. I just think that stuff's really cool. And inside the article that he sent me, I'm gonna read some of it right now. It says, somewhere around 2011, the Impossible Project tasked AA Studios with collecting and resurrecting some of the early 1990s Capcom USA Polaroid photo booths. It says the first batch of these were found in like a storage unit in Michigan, and they say they repaired these and converted them to shoot Spectra film. Then a little bit further down, it says after 3 years of storing these booths for the Impossible Project, the project seemed to stall due to the Impossible Project upper management changes at some point during or prior to the transition to Polaroid Originals. The Impossible Project ran out of money or inspiration to carry out the project further. We were instructed by the Impossible Project to get 3 to 4 cabinets operational, gut the rest, and send the parts and working booths to the Impossible Project's US storage. Some of the gutted cabinets ended up being recycled or resold for digital conversion. I found this also kind of super interesting. One of the working Polaroid booths went to the Third Man Records Detroit recording shop. After that, the whereabouts of the remaining operational booths are unknown. Nevertheless, it was a fun project and we had a great time. Hopefully someday we will see a Polaroid photo booth again in the wild. One can always dream. So Jack White owns one of them. It's perfect, actually, for it to be there. Hopefully I get to go see it one day. I went to one of his shops, I think actually his only other shop in Nashville, and he has a record store there. I actually bought some records there. I need to go to Detroit now, it sounds like. I don't know. I found this stuff interesting. I would love to know your thoughts on this. And will you be heading to any of the PolaCons this year? Let me know. You never know. We might run into each other. And if we do, Come say hi. If you want to follow this project even further, I'll leave some links in the description for resources, some stuff I found, because there were some other things I left out. And if you want to follow Wes, I'll leave his Instagram in the description too. Go follow him. He's the man. He's the one that has all the information, knowledge, and the booth itself. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out there. Make some art.